Identity is something that I've felt is more important to my work since I don't know, 2017 or so. I think it's like around the time I started to become more aware of my identity as like a non-binary person, and also the time that I felt like making work about my identity as a Black person was important. And those were two like pretty big steps for me, I guess, as an artist. Getting beyond just kind of like making little cartoons or drawings that I thought were cool or fun to make. So representation is kind of a big part of the work I want to make for this. I come from Madison, Wisconsin, which has kind of similar disparities to the Twin Cities in a lot of ways. That wasn't always easy growing up, and I feel like in a lot of ways I'm making art for that kid that I was and that person, because I know there are other people like that out there, so it's making work for them too. I'm Noah Lawrence Holder. I'm a Twin Cities artist. Lived here since 2013. I make illustration, animation work, kind of run the gambit a little bit, but yeah. I make a lot of like digital illustration, but that's kind of something I'm wanting to branch out from lately a little bit. But my work is very colorful. I like to explore queer and trans identities in my work a lot, and how those intersect with being Black. And I think that's something I've tried to introduce in my work a lot more over the past several years. It's become a lot more important to me to make work that's not only satisfying for myself to make, but satisfying for others. I like to make things that make people feel seen. Well, I think I've always really liked high fantasy, or like Tolkien, that kind of world, sort of. Just classic like wizards and like goblins and stuff like that. I've always thought was really fun. But yeah, there's like not a lot of space for brown people in those worlds. My plan is to take like 3 or 4 months and not do any work at all except for the residency. Part of what I want to do is some research into like my own heritage, and I want to explore some new mediums, like I mentioned, outside of digital art, which I think is really wonderful, but I'm kind of curious what it would be like to create some large scale pieces with, I'm thinking colored pencil right now, but yeah, I want to do some exploration in that area. And then as far as final pieces, I want to make like a series of illustrations sort of tying back into fantasy and afro-futurism, and sort of painting a narrative with those. I try to draw things that aren't too somber, which I think would be really easy given the topics that I try and explore, but I try and make things that are more uplifting, and I also just want them to be fun to look at. Just painting a brighter vision of the future for Black people, and that of course includes queer and trans people too, but I really like the idea of depicting a future in which the chains that bind us are no longer there, and in which we're free to fully exist as ourselves. For me, to make artwork that is uplifting and hopeful, to do that, you have to be imaginative, because the circumstances we live in are not always hopeful and don't always feel bright. So I think trying to create those moments and trying to envision that future is a big part of why I make art and why I make art for other people to see. And I try not to do it in a way that's escapist, because it feels really easy to fall into that mindset sometimes. So I really try and be intentional about creating images that recognize the truths of the world we live in, but that try and think beyond that.